Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is Dr. Ahmad Al Faris. Today we're going to start talking about general physics in several boards, especially Cambridge and Edexcel. Okay, we have ideas how they bring questions from Edexcel, Cambridge, and Oxford. Okay, and the only block that our topic that is different in the syllabus between the three boards that Cambridge doesn't have. This is the last year. Okay, next year they will have it, astronomy or astrophysics, but Edexcel and Oxford they do. Okay, so the groups that we have it, yes, no problem. At the end of the session I will send you whatever you want. Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you, Rosanna. So this is Dr. Ahmed Al Faris. Okay, and we are going to start talking about measurements. And okay, I am being teacher for the last 21 years. Okay, I want from you to be focused and clear here, inshallah. Look what we have. First of all, in measurements, we have to know what's the meaning of what time. Now, the definition is not included in the syllabus, okay? But if I'm talking about time, I'll say how long something needs to happen. How long something needs to happen. Okay, it's not a definition, it's not included in the syllabus. And usually it is measured by what? Well, how can we measure the stopwatch? What we are going to use? We are going to use a stopwatch, a timer, something like this, okay? And what's the main unit? The main unit is seconds, you know that, it's second, okay? Now there's other units like we have minutes and we have what? Hours, and we have to know how to convert minutes into what? Into hours, and minutes into seconds and hours into seconds. The main unit is what? A second. So we know that every minute is how long. You can send it on the YouTube, on the, sorry, you can send it on the chat if you please. Every minute, how can I convert it into second? What I have to do, what I have to multiply by how much? Yes, I have to multiply it by how much? Exactly, I have to multiply it by what? 60. Excellent. Good answer. I have to multiply it by 60. A lot of you answered. Thank you. Thank all of you. I can't mention the whole names. Okay, we have Abdullah Shalhoubiya, we have Mo Ramahi, we have Muhannad Khatib. Okay, we have a lot of names, and there is many names I can't read their names. So every minute is multiplied by 60 to convert it into seconds, and every hour I need to convert it directly into what? Into seconds. I'll multiply it by 60 from hours. It has 60 minutes, so multiply it by 60. Then I'll multiply it again by another what? Shukran ya Abdullah Shalabi. Okay, by another what? 60. And 60 times 60 is how much? So from hours into seconds, I have to multiply it twice by 60 times 60. Thank you, Maryam. It will be not 120, not 1,200, 3,600. It will be 3,600. Okay, two zeros I put them, then 6 times 6, it will be what? 30 what? 36. Okay. Tamam. Okay, that's the first idea about what? About how we can measure what? The time. Okay, now we have a lot of multiple choice questions. These multiple choice questions are your homework for next session, inshallah. You can send me privately on the what? On the WhatsApp. Okay, so time is very important here. We have to know what's the time and when it happened, because we have only 11, 12 weeks until your exam. You have to be careful. Okay, tamam. For example, let's do this question. One of the questions that we can do it is this one. What they ask here. A stopwatch is used to time a race, okay? The diagram shows the watch at the start and at the end, okay, of the race, okay? Tamam. How long did this race take? If you please send me on the chat, what's the answer? Yalla, I'm waiting for your answers. Thank you, Yusuf. Who else? Okay. Tamam, another answer. Thank you. Okay. If you don't want to mention your name, no problem. If you don't want to send, no problem also. Okay. Yes. Tamam. Thank you, Maria. Who can give me another answer? Now you can see that we have what? We have the stopwatch here. Okay. And the time supposed to be what? Yes. Okay, good. Tamam. Some answers are mistake, other answers are not correct. Okay. So, but there's direct correct answers, and some of you obviously they saw this question before. Okay, it's from October, November 2004, the second question, and they bring it last year also. So they keep repeating questions. Okay, no problem, no problem. Don't apologize. Okay, now look here. This stopwatch, does it start from zero? No, it doesn't. Why does it start from zero? That means it has something called what? Zero error. You heard about that, right? Yes. Now the zero error, all the instruments, they have an error, okay, called zero errors. So it doesn't start from zero. So I have to be careful about this zero error. So it starts from 0.5. So that's a problem with this stopwatch. It doesn't start from zero. We have something called zero error. Okay. Now, and the time here, as you can see, it's not 45, it's not 46, even not 47. It's between 46 and 47. So it's what it will be 46.5. So if I subtract 46.5 minus 0.5, my answer, it will be how much? 46 seconds, and the answer is B. You have to be careful. Your answers wasn't correct. So you wasn't sure about your answer. Some of you send me B, some of you send me D, some of you send me C, and some of them, they give me a wrong answer by values. So you have to be careful. Okay, it's an easy question. Okay, it's an easy question, but we have to answer it. Why 0.5? Look here, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's in the middle between 0 and 1. That means it's half second. Okay. I answer a lot of questions from all past papers, the old and the new, because they keep repeating questions exactly or same ideas, Ranim. Okay, no problem. You can do whatever you want. Fine. Now, if we move to the next question here, okay, like this question number 4. Okay, this is core paper. Okay, why I put this core paper? Because there is an idea that I want to use it to explain something that I'm going to talk about other questions later on. Other questions, I've skipped them because they are homework for you for next session, inshallah. Okay, or you can send it to me and I'll tell you if it's correct or not. Question number 4, the clock of a public building, okay, has a bell, okay, that strike what? 6 times, okay, strike each hour, so that people who cannot see the clock can know how long, okay, what is the hour in the day it is, okay. At precisely 6 o'clock, a clock starts strike. It strikes 6 times. At the first strike, a man bell, okay, of the bell, a man wristwatch is shown in this figure. This was his watch, 6 hours 5 seconds, okay. When the bell strikes for the 6th time, the wristwatch was in this figure. Now again, now this, yes, this is Cambridge, okay, but they have the same idea, Cambridge or Oxford, or even Edexon. Look here, it's 6 hours, 0 minutes, and what? 5 seconds. Now, in your calculator, in your scientific calculator, okay, we have the bottom here, okay, the simple math application here, and we have somewhere a bottom here at this position, somewhere here, the second row, I think, okay, that has this sign, comma, circle, 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 like something like this. This, we can use it to what? Yes, we can use it to tell us how much, how can we calculate what the time, okay, we can calculate the time is this. So let's see what we're going to do here. Okay, look here, calculate the time interval between the first strike and the 6th strike. Tamam. So can we calculate the time between the first strike to the 6th strike? Yes, it is how many seconds here from here to here? Here it's 6 hours 0 minute 5 seconds, and here it's 0 hour 6 hours 0 minute 15 what seconds. So the difference here, no, it's 5 seconds here. You have to be careful. It's a watch, it's a wristwatch. So the yes, exactly. The answer, it will be only what? 10 seconds. You can use this bottom to answer this question, especially in math. But in physics, they ask easy questions like this one, okay? But in math, you are going to use this button in the scientific calculator. Now, what they ask then, calculate the time interval between one strike to the what? To the next strike. Now, how can I do that? Look here. Now, I know that now here start striking. And this starts striking, okay, 0. I will assume that the first strike is the 0 time for me. Then it strikes for how many times? 6 times. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Until what? It's 15 seconds. So how many time intervals do I have here between the first strike and the 6th strike? Hold on. How long is the time, and how many time intervals do I have here? I have 1 time interval, 2 time intervals, 3, 4, 5, 6 time intervals. So calculate the time interval between one strike to the next. What I'm going to do, I'll divide the time. They ask about the time for each strike, how long it is. I'll divide the whole time that I just find it, which is 10 seconds, divided by the number of what? Time intervals, not number of strikes. Okay, again, let me explain this. This is the first strike, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth strike. I start the stopwatch here, which is how much was the time? 0.06 seconds, and 6 hours, 6 seconds. And how long does it need if it's 10 seconds? That means here the time is 0 seconds, and here the time is what? 10 seconds at the 6th strike. So how many time interval do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it is all level. I will not explain all level. Okay. Yes, it is all level, not AS. Yes, it is all level IGCSE Cambridge. Okay, and or Edexcel or Oxford. I answered this question several times, Anas. Okay, so that means 10. I will divide it by how much? By the number of what? By number of strikes, which is what? 5, and the answer it will be what? 2. What's my mistake here? I did everything correct. Even my final answer is correct, but I did a mistake. What's my mistake? Why 5 time intervals? Okay, because he was focusing about the question, is it O level or not? From 0 to, from the first strike to the second strike, this is 1 time interval. I will assume that when I start striking, this is 0 second. Then from here to here, it's another strike, etc. Third strike, fourth strike, fifth strike of 5 time intervals, because the question ask about the time intervals between the strikes, how long each strike needed time to the next one. Okay, tamam. So exactly, thank you. There's Christine said that there is no unit for the answer. Bravo. What else? Excellent. So here, as you can see, Christina, it's supposed to write the unit, and the unit is in seconds. Okay, so I have write S here. This is one of the mistake. The other mistake, I have to put 0.0. Why 0.0? Why I have to put any answer like this? 2.0, 5.0, 11. If I have a huge answer, 0.005, I have to put 0 here also. Why I have to do this? Exactly, because I have to write at least 2 or 3 significant figures. That's what I have to do, okay, to answer the question. So all our answers, they have to be at least 2 significant figures, okay? Tamam? Okay, good. Now let's move on to what next idea? Part C, what they ask in part C. At precisely 11 o'clock, the clock starts to strike. Calculate the time interval between the first strike to the 11th what strike. Again, the first strike, I will not count it because it starts 0. Okay, I'll start the stopwatch from 0. And I have what? 11 strikes. So how many times interval do I have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. How many times intervals? Excellent, Yusuf. I have 10 time intervals. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Mo. I have 10 time intervals. That means the total time, okay, is equal the time for each, okay, that I just find it, which is 2 seconds, multiplied by the n, the number of time intervals. That means it will be 2 multiplied by 10, and it will be 20 what seconds. Now here, it's not necessary to write 20.0 second because it's 2 significant figures. If you want to put 3 significant figures, you can write it 20.0 second, no problem of both solutions. What do you think? Is it easy or hard? Is it easy or hard? Is it clear or not clear? You don't understand which part, Sarah? A or B or C? Not clear. Why not clear? Can you repeat part B? No problem. I will repeat part B. But I have a lot of things that we have to talk about them. So I want from you to be focused from beginning. لو سمحتوا. Maybe you came late. Maybe you wasn't attention. So we have part B. We have 6 strikes. This is the time for the first strike. How much the time was? The time was 6 hours, 0 minute, 5 seconds. So start by 5 seconds. So I'll start from here. This is my 0. This is the first strike, second strike, third strike, fourth, fifth, and sixth. How many time intervals do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 time intervals. So that's why the total time, which is I found in part A, which is the difference between 6 hours 5 seconds and 6 hours 15 seconds, it's 10 seconds. This time I'll divide it by the number of time intervals that I found, which is what, 5. So 10 divided by 5, it will be what, 2 seconds. Now, yes, it's core question, but they give us this idea how we can divide the numbers, because one of the questions that they bring it in the multiple in the waves last year about the same thing. A lot of students, they don't know how to measure the wavelength, okay, because they count the number of wavelengths wrongly. That's why. Is it clear now? Let's move on to next question. If you don't understand, we can, okay, ask me later at the end of the session. We can be together, okay. Tamam, remind me at the end, okay. Now, another thing that we have to measure here, we have a lot of things to measure, and because we are talking about measurements, is the length. And the length also, the definition of it is not included, but if I want to define length or distance, it's how far 2 points from what? From each other. How far 2 points from each other, okay? Now, it's not necessarily the definition here, but we have to know that we have a lot of examples about what length, like distance, displacement, height, width, length. All these are examples, okay, tamam, about what? About distances, okay? And you have to know that how to use the information that we have, okay? So now how we can measure the height of something or the length of something, the distance, how we can measure it? Yes, we can measure regular distances by meter rule or ruler. Bravo. Thank you, Sarah. And another thing, well, yes, exactly. At long distances, Christine, we can measure it by measuring tape. Okay, like the distance between 2 buildings, or me and the width of the valley if there's echo, or how far is the wall from me to find the speed of sound during echo. What about if I want to find the thickness of a paper? Exactly, Joe. It's your name. That's okay. I will use what micrometers could judge. Exactly. So if I'm talking about, let me write it down in, okay, like this. If I'm talking about long distances, I'm going to use measuring tape. Measuring tape. If I'm talking about normal distances, okay, I'm talking about meter rule or ruler. Vernier caliper also, exactly, it's accepted, Rosanna and Anas, thank you, to measure the thickness of something, yes. And also for short distances, we can use what? Micrometer. Micrometer. And the main unit, it's supposed to be in what? In meters. And we have to know how to convert all the units from centimeter to meter, or from millimeter to meter, or even from kilometer to what? To meter. Now, let me tell you something. How many cents there is in $1? How many cents there is in $1? How many cents in $1? Ranim, no. Yusuf and Yusuf, okay, and Muhammad, we have 10 cents and $1. Okay, that's why the word cent, centimeter, that means we have 100 centimeter and 1 meter. So from centimeter to meter, we have to divide by how much? Divide by 100. Okay, but the word milli, from millimeter to meter, from milligram to gram, from millinewton to newton, from millisecond to second, I have to divide it by how much? Exactly, divide by 1,000. Excellent. So every time I need to convert from something small to something big, I need to what? I need to divide by value. But every time I need to convert from kilometer to meter, from kilonewton to newton, kilo means what? Exactly, I'll multiply it by how much? I'll multiply it by what? By 1,000. Okay, so write this down if you please quickly. Okay, these are the main things that they ask about it in physics. Okay, I'm not talking about math. In math, they ask about more ideas. Okay, now, yes, if I want to convert from centimeter to kilometer, yes, they ask about that in math, but in physics, they don't. Okay, I have to divide by 10 to the power of 5, which is or multiplied by 10 to the power of -5. Thank you, Sarah. Yes. Okay, let's move on to this question. Okay, question number 2 here. What do we have? One of the ways they ask about it in practical paper, okay, or in paper 6 for the IGCSE Cambridge, or in doing experiments, okay, is like this question. If I want to measure the thickness of a tube, it will be very hard to put the ruler, okay, above it. That's why I will use 2 set squares to be more accurate, to measure how much is the outer diameter from here to here. But look to this question, what do they ask? Look here, yes. The diagram shows a thick wall tube, okay? Thank you, Anas. The thickness of the wall is 3 millimeter, and here it's in centimeter, you have to be careful, okay? What is the internal diameter D of the tube? Now, because they give us the external diameter, I can measure it, which is from 4 to how much? 7.1234, exactly. That's the external diameter. So the diameter from outside, okay, external, okay, it's 7.3 minus 7.4 minus 4, which is what? 3.4. But they didn't ask about the external diameter. They ask about the internal diameter from here to here, from inside. And I have to subtract what? The 3 millimeters twice, once from here and once from here. So the internal diameter, okay, it will be equal 3.4 minus what? Minus 2 multiplied by the thickness. How much is the thickness? It is 3 millimeter. That means 0.3 what? Centimeter. Okay, you have to make both units in centimeter. I can't add cents with dollars, for example, 3 cents with $5, and it will be $8 and cent. I can't say that. So, right? So the answer exactly, Sarah, it's 2.8 centimeter. This is the answer. A lot of you give me a wrong answer. They said 3.4. You have to be focused. You don't be fast when you answer the question. You have to be clear. Okay, try to be fast to read, to understand the question, to think, but not to answer, okay? Because your answer must sometimes will be wrong, okay? So the answer is A. It is tricky, yes, I know. Tamam? Let's move on. Now, this is another question here, okay? From how we can do practical paper, okay? I can say it's core for the IGCSE, or one of the questions that they bring it on the Oxford level, okay, for the practical paper. What they ask. The figure below shows how students use a rule to measure h, the height of what? A pile of wooden block. The readings was inaccurate because the student practical technique was poor. A, complete the figure, okay, to show the correct method to read the height h of the meter rule. Now, we are going to answer extended questions, of course, Sarah. Hold on. Now look here in this, okay? Now the site, his site, okay, is not accurate. He has a problem. Exactly. Thank you, Anas. He has a problem. He did a mistake called what? Called parallax error. He's supposed to be in front of it, in front of the height in the same level, perpendicular to the reading of the rule. That's one mistake. Another mistake that he's supposed, thank you, Christine, he's supposed to start the reading from here, from what? From zero. He didn't put the zero in front of it. So if I want to draw that, first of all, I put the zero here. I put my rule, okay, my ruler. Then I put my sight, my eye, okay, in the same what height like this, perpendicular to the edge of the thing that I want to read it. That's why I get what? 2 marks. You have to, yes, you have to be careful and look carefully, okay? Tamam? So what's the error that we have it here? It's called parallax error. And how can I fix this parallax error? To view what? In a perpendicular way. In a perpendicular way. Good? Okay. That was part A of discussion. Part B. What do they ask? Use your what? Use your rule to measure the height marked H on the last figure. Now, a lot of problems, okay, when you try, a lot of problems happens of these type of questions. When you try to measure with your ruler, okay, you find that on the mark scheme that your answer is wrong. Actually, it's not wrong. Okay, you will not do a mistake by measuring. Okay, it is the problem that when you print out this worksheet, okay, even in the school, it will not be with the same resolution as the past paper exactly, okay? All the people in the world, they have the same exact resolution of the paper, so the size and the scale of the drawing, it will be what? The same. But if you want to have it, okay, if you have the paper you printed out already, you can use your rule to measure this height, okay? And according to the mark scheme, it was 2.2 centimeter, okay? Now, I don't know how much is your height here, okay, how much is your answer, okay, but if I say 2.2, for example, centimeter, okay, you measure your ruler to measure the height here, maybe it would be 2 centimeter, maybe it would be 2.4 centimeter. It depends on the printer that you printed out, okay? So how much is the height here? It's one easy mark of how we can measure the height. Then what they ask, the last figure is drawn to a scale. It is 1/10 of the actual size. It is 1/10 of the actual size. Calculate T, the actual thickness of the wooden block, okay, of one wooden block. How many wooden blocks do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 wooden blocks here. So that means, okay, the thickness of each block, it will be the real thickness, okay, that I just find it out, divided by their number. And it will be 2.2. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Yusuf, I told you that maybe your printer make the scale small. It doesn't matter. Okay, 2.2 multiplied by 5 times. It's sorry, multiplied by 10 times. Why 10 times? Because they said it's 1/10 of the actual size. So it's a smaller by 10 times divided by what? Their number, which is what? 6. And that whatever the answer it is, we put it on our calculator. So it will be 22 divided by 6, and the answer it will be 3.7 what? Centimeter. Of course, in your calculator you'll find 3.66666666. Don't put 3.6 recurring. Don't put 3.6. Okay, 66 the whole answer. Put it 3.67 or 3.7. The answer is supposed to be in 2 or 3 what? Significant what? Figures. You have to be careful about this, okay? Tamam? Any question? Piece of cake, right? Easy, صح? تمام. Any question? شكرا يا أنس. Any other questions? Let's move on to what? Another device. This device, this is an extended question for Cambridge, and they bring similar to it in Oxford a couple of years ago, sorry, in Nixon a couple of years ago. Okay, the figure below shows a part of measurement instrument. Okay, A. State the name of this instrument. Only state the name. That's a mark. Micrometer screw gauge. If you write micrometer, you get the mark. If you write the whole name, micrometer screw gauge, you get what? The whole mark also. So it's what? Micrometer. You can't say gauge or judge or something like this, and you can't write micro with a correct spelling mistake, okay? Because this is a keyword and they have to write it correctly, okay? Micrometer. Tamam? Now that's part A, 1 mark. Part B, record the reading shown in this figure. Now you know that it's micrometer because it measures very small values here. Okay, what do we have? We have minor reading, what? Major reading and minor reading. We have the values in millimeter and the values in parts of millimeters. So this straight line here show you what are the information that I have to find it out. First of all, this is half, this is 1 millimeter. This is another half, this is 2 millimeter. This is 2.5. So first thing, we have 2.5 millimeter plus. Because this line is in front of this here in the micrometer, so that means every one complete revolution of this screw is what? 0.5. So I have 0.5 millimeter. I have here 20, I have here 25. So it will be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So it will be what? 23. That means it's 0.23. It's 100th of the value of the millimeter. So that means our whole answer, it will be how much? 2.73 millimeter. A lot of you send me answers and this answer wasn't accurate. So again, if you please, how we can take the reading of the micrometer, again, let me repeat what I'm going to do here. First of all, we are going to see what are how many millimeters we have here. We have 1, 2, 2.5, and there's extra. So that's why I put 2.5 millimeter plus this extra. How much is this extra? I extend this line until I found it here in the small reading, here in the small scale. Okay, it's a 20, 21, 22, 23, so it's 23. So I put 23 over 100 because each one complete revolution is 0.5 millimeter, half millimeter. 2 complete revolutions is 1 millimeter, okay? And this scale is 50, or 50 times 2 is 100. So that's why plus 0.23, and the whole thing is 2.73 what? Millimeter. Actually, these type of questions, okay, they are bringing it as a multiple choice question now. Multiple choice question for the Cambridge, or they bring 1 mark for Edexcel during the paper, okay? So maybe they can put it as multiple choice question, or they can put it as a normal question, 1 mark to take the reading as in Cambridge or in Edexcel. How do we convert from millimeter to meter? Okay, if you want to convert, I would say divide by 100, divide by 1,000. So it will be 2.73 over 1,000 from millimeter to meter, and the answer it will be 0.00273 meter. Okay. But good. Did I answer your question? Is it clear? Okay. Next. C. Describe how you find the thickness of the sheet of a paper in this magazine. In a magazine. If I have a magazine, okay, if they ask any question to do an experiment, okay, I need to be more accurate. And how I will be accurate? I'll not do the experiment once, I'll do it several times. But here I have the magazine and I have a sheet of paper. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to say that exactly as some of you send me, I will measure, for example, 100 sheets, okay? And measure the thickness of 100 sheets. And this thickness I will divide by 100 to get what? The thickness for each sheet. That's how can I be more accurate, okay? Okay, that's 2 marks out of 3. How can I get the 3rd mark? What's the mistake? What's the thing that I didn't talk about it? I can't put 500 sheets. It's 500 sheets, it would be very thick, okay? Maybe the micrometer cannot measure the whole 500 sheets, okay? Let's say 50 sheets or 100 sheets is good choice, okay? Also, you have to know the instrument, how much the range that it can measure, okay? So what's the 3rd mark here? So if I said I measure the thickness of 100 sheets, then I divide by 100, I get actually 2 marks because I mentioned 2 ideas. What is the third mark? No, yes, it's supposed to be in millimeter. Okay, the third thing, because they ask you how to describe. I told you before when I was talking here, and there's something called what? Zero error. I told you any instrument has zero error. So I have to check if there is no zero error for this what? For this micrometer. Okay, so what I'm going to say first, this is the first mark. First, check the zero error of the micrometer. Then you can write it as second point, but I prefer to put it as paragraph and bullet points. Then measure the thickness of 100 sheets and divide this thickness by how much? And divide this thickness by 100. That's how we can get the 3 marks. Okay, sometimes they repeat this question and they ask, how can I be more accurate even if I measure the thickness of 100 sheets? Now, you can do that. You can measure the thickness from here and measure the thickness also from here. So if I measure the thickness from 2 different orientation or 2 different positions and find the average of this, then I divide by 100, I'll be what? More accurate. Okay? So you have to be careful about these type of questions. Is it clear? Is it clear? Any question? Rosanna, you said repeat. Repeat what exactly? Can you be more clear? Okay. If you have any question, you can send me later. Okay. Can I write? I should. No. In this question, no, I should not be perpendicular here to avoid parallax error. There is no parallax error in these type of questions. Okay. طيب, now next. Now, other things we have to know here, it's the area. We have to know how to measure the area. We measure the time, we measure the length, and now we are going to measure the area. Actually, they are not going to ask about measurement of area unless we are talking about math. So, but we have to know some certain areas like the square, its length times length. So the area of it is length square. The rectangle, its length multiplied by width. This is the area of it. If we have a right angle triangle or a normal triangle, okay, we have to know how much is the height of it and the base of it and the area exactly. Thank you. It will be area of, it will be half base height, height base divided by 2 half base height. And if we know, if we have a trapezium, we have to know what is the initial base A and what's the second base B, okay? And we have to know the height of both of them. So the area of it, it will be A plus B divided by 2 multiplied by height. I know that all of this you studied in math. And finally, we have to know the area of what? Of a circle, if I know its radius. And the area, it's equal to pi r squared. These are the areas that we have to know it, where we have to know it in physics, yes. So the main unit of area is what? Meter square. And we have to know that how to convert from what to what? How to convert from centimeter square to meter square, the same thing from millimeter square to meter square, and finally from kilometer square to meter square. Next time we are going to answer all the questions that we didn't do it. Okay, I told you they are homework, and the next time I'm going to answer it together and see if your answer is correct or not. Okay, don't forget, yes, the diameter. It's if they give us the diameter, we have to divide by 2. Okay, so how we can convert from centimeter to meter? Divide by 100. But here I'm talking about centimeter square to meter square, so that means I'll divide by what? 100 square. That means I'm dividing by 10,000. 10,000s, or you can say multiply by 10 to the power of -4, because I'm talking about 4 zeros, 4 digits here. The same thing here. If I'm talking from millimeter square to meter square, that means I'll divide by 1,000 square. I'm talking about 2 dimensions here. That means I'll divide by 1,000,000. Okay, and the same thing here. If I'll talk about kilometer to meter, I multiplied by 1,000 what square, which is also what? 1,000,000. Good. Okay. Next, the volume. The first thing that we have to know the definition of it according to the syllabus of the Edexcel and the syllabus of Cambridge. Okay, what is the definition of volume? Who can give me the keywords that can give me the mark of the definition of the volume? Send me on the chat. What is the definition of volume? Is what? What's the words that I have to write it down to get the mark? Thank you. Another answer. Good. Another answer. Bravo. Space. Excellent. Another answer. No problem. No problem. The size of the object, how much it occupies. Okay, tamam. Good. So I can say that the volume is the space or the size that the object takes. The object what takes exactly. Now I have how many answers? You can't write the volume, okay, and you can't write words that it's not clear. For example, the amount of object that takes is not a clear word, okay. The amount of space, yes, okay, is the space that the object take or occupied, okay. And the main unit is supposed to be what? You can say the capacity. No, the capacity, it has many meanings, okay. The capacity for something inside it, not okay the whole thing. Yeah, it depends. Okay, I know we're studying physics here, not English. Yes, from centimeter cube to meter cube, what I will do, I will divide by how much? 100 what cube. And the same thing from millimeter cube to meter cube, I have to divide it by 1,000 cube, and you have to know how to use your calculator to do this. Okay, now how can I find the volume of regular shape object? Now in physics, okay, in all substances we have only 2 shapes that I have to know the formula, okay, for them, how to can find their volume. But in math you have many shapes, okay. Now so that means if I have a rectangular box, a rectangular square or rectangular, okay, box like this, and they give us their length, their width, and their height, and that means the volume, it will be equal what? Tell me on the chat. Yes, Anas, what do you want? What do you mean, Sarah, if you wrote the formula? Which formula? Exactly. So the volume, it's length multiplied by width multiplied by what? By height. Yes, length with height. Yes, thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, Anas. The other shape that we have to know its volume is what? Is the cylinder or the disc. Now I know that a lot of you ask me, Ustad, احنا ما توقعناش يكون عندنا عدد كبير زي هيك. Next time you can turn on your microphone and ask me directly, but because we have too many students here, I can't allow the mic to be open because yes, it will be a lot of noise. Yes, I know. So if they give us the radius or they give us the area of a disc or a cylinder, what will be the formula of the volume? Yes, thank you. في ناس بلشوا يبعتوا أجوبة. Yes, the volume equal the cross section area multiplied by the height, which is equal to pi r square what h. This is what the volume. تمام. Okay. These are for regular shape objects. If we have regular shape objects, these how we are going to do. But if we have irregular shape objects, it depends on the state of matter. Okay, yes. Okay, now if I want to convert from one of the questions Anas asked about liters. Now, if I want to convert liters, okay, how many liters in a cubic meter? I'll divide it by how much? By what? 1,000, because each 1 cubic meter is 1,000 what? 1,000 liter. Okay, did I answer your question? Tamam. Now the volume is supposed to be in cubic meters. Okay, if the volume was in liters, that's something else. That means we have a special formula for it. But usually we have to put all of them in cubic meter, because later on they are asked about density, they ask about mass, they ask about a lot of things that link to each other. Okay. Now for irregular shape object, we have three states of matter, and each state of matter we have to know how to measure their volume. For example, the gas, it have the same volume of the container. For liquid, we are going to use what? Measuring cylinder. Now, if I have a measuring cylinder, can I hold it by my hand? Can I hold it and take the reading directly from it? No, I have to put it where? Vertically on a horizontal bench. So I have to put this measuring cylinder on a horizontal bench like this. Tamam. And then I'll take the reading. How do I take the reading? I'll put my eye exactly in the parallax, okay, to avoid parallax error, perpendicular to the reading in the same level. And I'll take the reading from where? From the bottom of the meniscus, not the top. You can see that this is the side. Okay, the liquid surface curve like this, then goes horizontal. I'll take the reading from where? From here, from the bottom of the meniscus, not from the top of the meniscus. Okay. Tamam. So I have to do this in what? In 3 steps. First step, okay, put it vertical. Put it vertical. How? On horizontal bench. Yeah, most of the liquids, they curve like this, except what mercury, it curves in the opposite direction. So we take the base. That's what I'm going to write it down. On horizontal bench. Okay. Now, second point, okay, I in the same level. I in the same level. I in the same level of the surface. Number 3, reading from the base. The base means the bottom, except for mercury. Read from the base. I mean by its bottom, except mercury, the base of meniscus. Okay. Tamam. We can't put it in tilting way. We have to put it in vertically straight way. Yes, thank you. I have a lot of answers here from Anas. Thank you, Anas. Now, what about solid object? We are going to use something called Archimedes way, or displacement liquid. That means if I have a liquid, the measuring cylinder, okay, I have to take the volume before and after merging the what? The object, for example, a stone inside. So for example, if this was the volume of the liquid before, and this was the volume of the liquid after, I need to subtract the volumes before and after what? Adding this object inside. Okay, so that means we have V1 and V2, and the volume of the stone, or the volume of the object, it will be the difference between the volume of V2 minus what? V1. So I will take the reading, okay, for measuring cylinder with a known volume of liquid, V1. Then I'll repeat the same thing after what? Putting the stone inside, okay, that's called V2. Then what? I'll subtract the readings between V1 and V2 minus V1 to find the volume of the stone inside. Is it clear? Now let's do this question. Question number 21. Okay. Or we can use displacement can. Yes, displacement method. Okay. Question number 21. I will give you a minute to give me the answer. Which one is the correct answer? What they ask here, they ask a measuring cylinder that contains some water. When the stone is put in the water, the level rises. What is the volume of the stone? Send me the answer. Yes. Which one is the correct answer? Is it A or B or C or D? Thank you, Rosanna. Who else? Thank you, Yusuf, Muhammad, Ranim. All of your answers are correct. Joseph, okay, thank you. So the reading here, as you can see, 50, 60, 70, 80. So the reading here was 75 in the middle, and the same thing, 100, 110, 20, exactly 125. So the reading is 125 minus 75. So the answer is 50, which is what? Which is A. Good. Another question. Okay, this is from Edexcel paper, and similar to this question, they bring it in the Cambridge one of the years. Okay, as you can see, I'm talking about measurements here. That's why I'm okay. These questions, they are easy because measurements, it's easy. Okay, the figure below shows the top part of a measuring cylinder containing some liquid. A, what is the volume of the liquid in the measuring cylinder here? How much is the volume? Thank you, Anas. Another answer. How much is the volume now? Another answer. Who can tell me? Bravo. Ranim, be careful. It's not your answer. Huh? Another answer. Khulud, Muhannad. Exactly. It's easy. It's 90 here and 100 here and 95 in the middle. So it will be 96. It's only 1 point above. So the answer is 96. What's the unit? Cubic centimeter cube. Okay. Tamam. This is easy. Then what they ask? The figure besides indicates 4 ways to observe the eye could look to the taking the readings from the measuring cylinder. Put the circle on the eye which gives the correct reading. Which one is the correct reading? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Which one is the correct reading? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Bravo. Most of you, no, D is not correct. Okay, now C and B are having parallax error. D, it takes the reading from the top of the liquid. Okay, and its base, it's a meniscus, it's below, not like mercury above. So the correct answer is what? Is the left position, okay, up, okay, which is, I wrote it as A. So this is the correct what? This is the correct answer. Okay, the rest are not correct. Okay, you have to be careful about this. Tamam? So the correct answer is this I. Tamam? C. In order to fill the measuring cylinder up to how much? 100 centimeter cube. How much is the volume now? It's what? 96. We need to fill it up to how much? 100 centimeter cube. Okay? 80 drops. This is the number of the drops. 80 drops of liquid are added to the liquid already now. Okay? Which is already 96. We add 80 drops to fill it to how much? To how 100. Okay? In the measuring cylinder. Calculate the average volume of each drop. Give me the answer. How much is the average? Yes. How much is the average volume for each drop? Anas, you did a mistake, huh? You did a huge mistake. Thank you, Muhammad. Okay, but you have to put another thing. Okay. Another answer. Yusuf, you did a small mistake. I'm not sure about it. Okay, I need the average volume for each drop. Thank you, Muhammad. Good now. Okay. Thank you. Okay. What do we need? We need the volume for each, right? The volume for each is equal the total volume divided by the number. For example, Anas, okay, I have 100 GD and I want to share it with you. I'll say 100 divided by 2 or 2 divided by 100. Okay, so they ask about the volume for each. I'll divide the volume, the total volume, divide by what? The number. Okay, so how much is the total volume? It's 100 minus what? 96, which is 4. Divide by their number, which is what? 80. So that means 4 divided by 80, it will not be 20, it will be 0.05. But I didn't finish here. What I have to say here? I have to add another 0 to make my answer two significant figures, okay? And also I have to put what? The unit, which is what? Cubic centimeter. Good? Is it clear? Tamam. Okay. Now, another thing that we have in the IGCSE syllabus, okay, for Cambridge or Oxford or even Edexham, it's the mass, and we have to know the definition of it. What is the definition of mass? Thank you, Anas. Anas, give me the correct answer. How much what? Bravo. Yes, salam. Thank you, Sarah. Another answer. Okay, bravo. The amount of matter, okay, that what the object has. The matter or the amount of matter an object has. So whenever there is more protons, more electrons, more molecules, that means we have more mass, more matter. And what's the unit of it? It's kilograms, and we usually use what? Top pan scale, okay, or what? Balance scale to what? To measure the what? The mass, or for example, bathroom scale. Okay, they put it in the bathroom. Okay, and I can't say balance alone. I have to say balance scale. I can't say scale alone because we have something called Newton scale, which is something else. Yes, bravo, Ali. So we have to know how to convert from grams to kilograms and how to convert from tons to kilograms. And you know that both of them, grams to kilograms, I have to divide by how much? Exactly 1,000. And tons to kilograms, I have to multiply by how much? Also by what? By 1,000. Tamam. That's about the mass. Next thing, we have to know what is the definition of what? Of weight. Who can tell me what's the definition of weight? What is the definition of weight? Yes. What is the keyword to write the definition? The Allah, bravo, tamam. Shukran ya Anas. Who else? What is the definition of weight? Another answer. No, weight is not the mass, because that's why they give it another word. Weight and mass is not the same word. That means it has different meaning. Okay. Now mass, how much? Okay. For example, this table. Okay, how much molecules for wood has? That is the mass of it. How heavy it is. But when we talk about weight, I'm talking about how much is the. Bravo, bravo, Mariam. The gravitational force. Bravo, how much gravitational force, thank you, Sarah, pulling the object down. And we use spring balance or force scale, Newton scale to measure it. So the weight changes according to the position. So for example, my weight on Earth is not as my weight on Moon, but my mass remains the same. The mass doesn't change. The weight changes according to the gravitational field strength or the gravitational force. So the weight, the gravitational force, this is L, the gravitational force pulling the object down, pulling the object to the center of Earth, pulling the object down. Yes, yes. And well, what is the instrument that we use it to measure the weight? We can use balance scale. I'm sorry, spring scale or spring balance, spring balance. Or we can use what? Newton scale, or we can use force meter. All these are what are accepted as what? An answer. Okay, tamam. And the main unit of it is not kilogram, is a Newton. Bravo. The main unit is not kilogram. Some of you send me kilogram. No, it's not kilogram. So the formula, weight equal mass multiplied by g, the gravity acceleration. And the gravity acceleration changes from place to another place. Okay, even from board to another board. Now, this is the last year. This year, it will for Cambridge to be 10 meters per second square. It will be 9.8 okay, meters per second square, as other boards like Oxford and with Excel, they use 9.8. So 10 or 9.8 is the gravitational field strength here on Earth. And the mass supposed to be in kilograms. To make the weight is in what? In newtons. Because why? Why I put the weight as Newton? Because it's a force. It is a force. And the gravity acceleration here on Earth, it can be 10 or 9.81 according to the board or to the syllabus or even to the location. It changes from place to another place, even on Earth. Yes. Let's move on to the next level. Density. A lot of students, they don't understand density. Okay. And actually, it's very easy to understand and realize what's the meaning of density. Who can tell me what is the density? Thank you, Anas. MashaAllah, give me the correct answer. What's the meaning of density? Who can give me the definition of density? Bravo, ya Maryam. Thank you. Excellent. You can write in terms of specific in unit of, okay, or per one. Sah. Yes. So the definition of density, it's also what included in the syllabus of all boards. What's the definition of density? It's mass per unit volume. How much mass, how much matter, and 1 meter square of volume. Okay. A lot of students, to understand the meaning of density, I have to give you this question. Okay. Which one is heavier? Which one is heavier? 1 kilogram of iron or 1 kilogram of cotton? Which one is heavier? Tell me. Which one is heavier? 1 kilogram of iron, 1 kilogram of cotton? Muhammad said iron and said both are so true. Jelly said that both are the same. Some of you send me iron. I said 1 kilo, 1 kilo. So they are the same, exactly. 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram, they have the same mass. They have the same weight on Earth. But 1 kilogram of iron is this size. 1 kilogram of cotton is that size. Okay, so they have different density because they have different volume. So density, they use capital letter D for it or capital rho, okay, Greek letter for it, equal mass over what? V, the volume. And the mass supposed in what unit? Yes, the mass supposed to be in what? What's the unit of mass? Yes, it can be kilograms or it can be grams. Okay, and the unit of volume, it can be in meter cube, cubic meter, or it can be in what? Centimeter cube. So what will be the unit of density? The unit of density is kilogram per cubic what meter. So we have two units here actually. We have, look here, we have kilogram per cubic meter, and we have grams per centimeter cube, cubic centimeter. Which unit is bigger? Is kilogram per cubic meter bigger, or grams per centimeter cube is bigger, or they are both equal? Which unit is bigger? Is it kilogram per cubic meter or gram per centimeter cube is bigger? So, thank you, Rosanna. Thank you, Khulud. Okay. Tamam. Another answer. Which one is bigger? Another answer. Okay. It's proportional to the mass directly and proportional to the volume inversely. The density directly proportional to the mass and inversely proportional to the volume. Yes. Okay, but the density of each material is constant, okay, which is constant for each element, constant for each element. It's not change, okay, for each element. Now I can change it, okay, depending on many factors. So we are going to talk about it later on. Thank you. Now most of you give me wrong answers, okay, except Muhannad. Each 1,000, let me write it down with the red color. Huh? Each 1,000 kilogram per centimeter per meter cube is equal to 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So the gram per centimeter cube is much bigger than kilogram per cubic meter. It's bigger by 1,000 times. Why is this, ya Ustad? Because if you use the calculator and you convert kilograms to grams, you divide by how much? You divide by 1,000. But if you want to convert cubic meter, you multiply by 1,000. Yes. If you want to convert cubic meter into what? Cubic centimeter, you multiply by how much? By 100 cube. By using the calculator, 1,000 divided by 100 cube, which is a million, that means 1 over 1,000. That means to convert from gram to centimeter, gram to per meter cube to, sorry, from kilogram to per meter cube to gram per centimeter cube, you need to divide by 1,000 because the gram per centimeter cube is much greater than, okay. But they actually, they don't ask like this question. They give you values and they ask from you to convert it. So you have to know how to convert, okay? Tamam? Any question? Send me on the chat if you don't understand something, okay? Is it clear? Yalla, let's move on. Now, how can we find the density of liquids? It's very easy. How we can do that? We bring the measuring cylinder, empty measuring cylinder, and we measure its mass, M1. This is what? Empty measuring cylinder. Then we bring the same measuring cylinder on the same what? On the same balance scale to measure its mass with what? With a certain amount of what? Of liquid. So we will have what? M2. Anas, in the end of the session, if you please, in the end of the session. Okay, and we take the volume of it. How much is the volume? V. Then we say that density equal M2 minus M1 over what? Over the volume. That's how we can find out how much is what? The density of any liquid. The difference in the mass divided by the volume that we read it. Take screenshot. We can write this in words, but I don't have enough time. Okay, so that's why I'm going to explain it in a diagram like this. Next, how we can find the density of a solid. Also, if it's regular or irregular shape, we can do the same as we did here before. We can bring the measuring cylinder, put it on balance scale, okay, and put water inside, a certain amount of water with a certain volume, okay, yes, and we can what? Thank you, Khulud. So we have a volume here, okay, this is V1 for the liquid, okay, it has M1 mass, and we put the object inside, the volume will increase, and also the mass will increase to V2, and this is the mass M2. If we add what? The object inside, and this, for example, this is the object. That means the density of this object, it will be the difference in the masses over the difference in what? In volumes. You know that, right? Any question? Any question? Okay. Any question? Okay. That's it for today. Okay, I'm going now to the worksheet that I give it to you. You can see that we have a lot of questions, okay? And these questions, we can use them to answer what a lot of ideas that they are from mixed ideas from several boards, okay? Now let's move on, okay? I will try to answer some questions here. Okay, let's move on to density. Okay, the multiple choice questions are homework. I want from you to try to do it and send me the answer. Okay, question number 6. Question number 6 in the worksheet, page 17. The worksheet, from where do you get the link? You can get the worksheet or send me on my number on the WhatsApp. I would reply to you, but not now. After the next session, I have a session after this one. Okay. So, what they ask? A student used a suitable measuring cylinder and a spring balance. So we have measuring cylinder, and we have what? Spring balance. The worksheet, from where you get the link, you have to get the worksheet. I send to millions of people, to hundreds of people, this worksheet and the link. Okay. A student used a suitable measuring cylinder and spring balance to find the density of a sample of a stone. So our target is to find the density. A. Describe how the measuring cylinder is used. Okay. State all the readings that be taken. What the measuring cylinder is used to measure what? The measuring cylinder, we needed to measure what? No problem, Anas. Okay. Yes, we can find, yes, the volume. Bravo, the volume. Ranim, Yusuf, Mariam, thank you. We can find the volume of, okay, so what are the volume of what we are taking, okay, to find the density of a sample of stone? We need the volume of the liquid inside the measuring cylinder before and after what? Adding the stone. So put known volume of water between brackets V1 in the measuring cylinder. Then merge the stone in and take the new volume V2. Then what? Subtract them. V2 minus V1. That's part A of this question, to find the density of the stone. Part B. Thank you, Khulud, but we are not going to write the word density here in the explanation. The volume, yes, okay. Part B. Thank you, Khulud. Part B. Describe how the spring balance is used and state the readings that are taken. The spring balance, we are going to use it to find what? To find the mass? No, not correct. Excellent, Yusuf. To find what? Thank you, Mariam. To find the weight. So hang the stone by it to measure its what? Its weight. Then what I will do, look here, I'm trying to find the density of the stone. The density is not included the weight in its definition and its formula. So what I need to do, I need to divide by how much? Excellent. Then divide its weight by the gravity acceleration. By gravity what? Acceleration. You can say that the gravity acceleration can be, okay, 10, okay, according to the IGCSE syllabus, or you can say 9.8 according to the other boards, okay? So it depends on the board that you are going to use. Mashi? Next. A, B, now C. Write down the equation from which the density of the stone can be calculated. In this situation, don't write the formula in symbols. You have to write density, bravo, equal what? Is equal to mass per volume. Okay, mass per volume, mass over volume. Good. Is it clear? You can write it mass divided by volume, or you can write yes, whatever you want. Correct. D. A student then wishes to find the density of a cork. Okay, of cork. Do you know what's the cork? Usually they use it to close bottles, glass bottles in it. Okay, if you watch movies, okay, you can see the champagne bottle. This is the cork, the object that come out from the bottle. Okay, do what this is now the cork floats over the water surface, so I can't merge it to find its volume because it will be not completely merged. It will be above the water surface. So density can be called rho. Yes, right. Yes, it's rho. Okay. So what we have to do? Yes, we have to use the stone. We tie it with the stone because I know its mass and its volume now. Okay. I tie the stone and repeat the experiment and make the stone as a sinker to goes down inside the water when I tie it with the cork. Both of them, they have greater density than the water. So use the stone as a known mass and volume sinker. Mass and volume sinker, comma, tie it with the cork and repeat the experiment. Repeat the measurements. تمام. Thank you, Yusuf. Bravo. صح. All of you knows these ideas already, but we need to practice more to get what a correct answer, inshallah, and we can get an A star, okay, or 9, or according to the board, or according to the syllabus that you are studying, okay, inshallah. Yes, it is easy. You have to be sure that it's easy if you study well, inshallah. Okay, last question for today. Question number 9 in this worksheet. Question number 9, page 18. What they ask? First of all, define density. What is the definition of density? You can write it mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume. As simple as this. Then what they ask here? Look, part B. The density of aluminum is 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. Okay, they give you in grams per cubic centimeter. The thickness of rectangular sheet of aluminum foil varies, but it's much less than how much? 1 millimeter. It's less than 1 millimeter, which is 0.1 centimeter. It's much less than this value. We don't know how much it is, but it's much less. A student wishes to find the average thickness, the unknown value. Okay, she obtains the following measurements: the mass, the length, and the width of the sheet. Okay, we don't know the thickness. So mass is 60.7, length of the sheet 50, and width is 30 centimeters. Calculate the student's value. Okay, calculate the student's value for the volume, the average thickness. Now, how we can find the volume? Most of you think that, okay, the volume is length times width times thickness, but I don't have the thickness. So, Ustad, how can I do that? No, you can do that by using the other formula for the density. Don't forget they give us the density here. So we know that density equal mass over volume. Mass over volume. And by rearrange the formula to make V as the subject of the formula, it will be mass over what? Density, which is 60.7 divided by 22.7, and the answer it will be, thank you Yusuf, 22.48 blah blah blah. So it will be, I put it in 3 significant figures, it will be 22.5 cubic watt centimeter. Now after I do that, I can find the thickness, because we know that volume equal length times width times thickness. Now I'll rearrange the formula to make thickness of the subject of the formula, which will be what? Volume over length multiplied by width, which is 22.5 divided by 50 times 30, and the answer will be 0.015 what? Centimeter, which is very small, much smaller than how much? 0.1, this value. Much less than 1 millimeter. Yes. 4 easy marks. Yes, thank you. C. Another student provided with a means of cutting the sheets decided to find the average thickness using a single measurement instrument. Assume that the surface of the sheet are perfectly smooth. State the name of the instrument that we are going to use. What's the name of it? Thank you, Mariam. What's the name of this instrument? Micrometer. The name of this instrument is micrometer. Okay, micrometer school, George. Exactly. Type double I. Describe the procedure she should follow to obtain an accurate value for the average thickness of the sheets. Details of how the reading of the instrument are not required. We can say caliber, but in the Sarah, you are doing Cambridge, according to what I remember, and the vernier caliber is not included in the syllabus, but they accepted in the mark scheme. Yes, but the micrometer is better answer. Okay. No, this is not paper 6. Of course, not paper 6. This is paper. Okay, look here. Look here. It's Cambridge, May, June 2013. In that time, this paper 3 was the extended paper, not the core paper. It's similar to paper number 4. This is the first question that here. So how we can do that? How we can, do you remember when I was explaining, yes, I have to, exactly, I have to measure the distance, okay, for what? The thickness for 100 sheets, then divide this thickness by 100. But I have to first check the 0 error, this first mark, then then measure the thickness for 100 sheets, then divide it by what? Divide by 100, divide this thickness by 100. Allah ya'tikum al-afiyah. That's it for today. Okay. If you have any question, you can send it to me on the chat, or you can stay here online for a couple of seconds or minutes, because I have another session after 5 minutes. Have a nice day. I hope that you are good, inshallah, and see you soon. Allah ya'tikum al-afiyah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you have any question, you can stay. If you don't, you can leave. You are welcome. Ahlan bikum. Not necessarily 100 sheets, but you can say 10 sheets or 8 sheets. Okay, aluminum foil, 100 sheets, it will be very thick. Yes, you can say 10 sheets or 20 sheets of aluminum foil. Yes. No problem. Ahlan, you are welcome, Muhannad. Recording, okay. I will send you the YouTube, okay, channel, okay, and you will find already this class similar to it, recorded a couple of months ago. Yes. Ahlan, ahlan. You are welcome. مع ألف سلامة. The next session is for something else, okay? It's not for Cambridge, okay? It's for A-level. Yes, you can find it, Salma, on the YouTube channel, on my YouTube. You can write Dr. Ahmad Al Faris, you will find the YouTube channel. And you can do what you can search a lot of, you have a lot of videos there. Allah ya'tikum al-afiyah.